The current Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, it's just too jokey. It's too unserious. And he kind of radiates unseriousness. And that's a shame for him, for President Trump, and for the...
Bob Woodward didn't hold back, and when a legendary journalist like him lays down the hammer, it's not just commentary, it's a reckoning. Bob Woodward just eviscerated Trump's defense secretary live on air. If you thought the signal scandal was just another headline, think again. Subscribe now for more unfiltered truth, brutal takedowns, and the political moments no one else dares to expose. It all kicked off when MSNBC host Nicole Wallace welcomed Bob Woodward to discuss the signal scandal, a security breach involving top military officials communicating classified details through an unsecured app. But this wasn't just about Signal. It quickly spiraled into a scorching critique of Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who's been under fire not just for his policy decisions, but for his personality. Wallace didn't beat around the bush, calling back to how Hegseth wasn't even in office the last time they spoke in November, and now chaos has unfolded. Wallace teed it up. What concerns Woodward the most about Hegseth's leadership? And Bob, true to form, didn't flinch. When asked about Hegseth's leadership, Bob dropped the facade and delivered a brutal reality check.
Secretary of Defense is Deputy President for War. So you want that position to be filled by somebody who's very serious, very competent.
And then came the line that broke the internet.
The current Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, it's just too jokey. It's too unserious. And he kind of radiates unserious.
There was no spinning that, no dodging, just straight up humiliation. And the so-called defense, there wasn't one. All anyone could point to was Trump's obsession with loyalty.
Trump doesn't worry about incompetence. He worries about loyalty.
That's the entire rationale? That the man responsible for leading America's military is there because he's loyal, not qualified, not strategic, not even competent, just loyal? It's not just weak, it's dangerous. Let's talk reality, because the consequences here go way beyond bad vibes and bureaucratic blunders. Bob Woodward, the man who's covered 16 defense secretaries, laid it out with chilling clarity.
War is the most serious undertaking that this country ever gets involved in, and this seems not serious. It seems too.
For a position described as Deputy President for War, Hegseth's alleged behavior sounds more like a frat house than the Pentagon. And it's not just Woodward saying it. According to the transcript, even Pentagon veterans and insiders, people who have worked under multiple administrations, are disillusioned.
Who were fired and quit. They were people Hegseth brought in for the most part.
Worse still, this isn't a blip, it's a pattern. Hegseth's leadership isn't just being questioned, it's being rejected by the very people who've served under past defense secretaries. Then came the bombshell about Trump.
I remember I asked Trump once, what's the job of the president? And he had a very good answer, which is to protect the...
And yet, with loyalty placed above competence, even that simple promise feels hollow. But perhaps the most damning words from Woodward were reserved for the fallout of the signal scandal.
It's careless, and it shouldn't be careless, and these people should not be.
And who's responsible?
Leadership starts at the...
From national security to classified leaks to losing the trust of the military's own ranks. This isn't just incompetence, it's systemic rot, and Bob Woodward is shining a very, very bright light on it. Just when you thought the critique couldn't get any harsher, Bob Woodward peeled back the curtain on a Pentagon in quiet disarray, and a signal scandal that might just be the tip of the iceberg. Nicole Wallace, who's no stranger to White House protocol, hit the core of the issue with chilling precision.
Where you have to be so careful about your handling of classified information for a range of reasons, including that adversaries can get their hands on it, you can put operations at risk, you can put sources and methods at risk.
And yet, multiple signal chats were discovered. Not one, not two, possibly more, with no objections raised in real time.
Chats. What do you think about this story? Do you think there's more underneath it that we should be concerned about?
I don't think so, based on, but maybe we'll discover that it had some consequence. I mean,
This wasn't some fringe protocol slip. It was a breakdown of national security norms at the highest levels. Woodward's response.
I don't think so, based on, but maybe we'll discover that it had some consequence. I mean, it didn't interrupt the military action that was going to take place and did take place, but it's careless, and it shouldn't be careless, and these people should not be.
And then he hit it home.
Old rule: leadership starts at the.
No matter how many layers of spin get added, the raw truth remains. The Pentagon's leadership is acting jokey, careless, and completely unserious about the one thing that should matter most: national security. This wasn't just a story, it was an indictment. Bob wasn't done. He knew what millions watching were already thinking. Why, with so many red flags, does Trump keep Hegseth around? The answer is as cynical as it is terrifying.
Trump doesn't worry about incompetence. He worries about loyalty. And loyalty is the first.
That line echoed like a death knell through the interview, a damning summary of the Trump doctrine: loyalty over leadership, image over substance. And Woodward didn't flinch.
Right, it doesn't serve Trump, doesn't serve the.
When reflecting on his own military service, Bob brought it full circle.
And you learn about obligation, you learn about how important the task is, and that means serious. Getting down to dealing with the business in the most careful and constructive and creative way, and I don't see any of that.
Every word cut deeper. This wasn't personal, this was patriotic outrage. And when Wallace pressed him on what Pentagon insiders are saying now,
it goes to the commander-in-chief, and the commander-in-chief should put the obligation on his own.
A signal scandal that exposes glaring lapses in protecting classified intel. A president who prioritizes loyalty over competence and watches as the nation's military leadership becomes a punchline. Bob Woodward didn't deliver a hot take. He delivered a historic warning. This isn't about left versus right. This is about what kind of country we're becoming when even war becomes a joke. If you're as stunned as we are, hit that subscribe button, because we won't stop breaking down the lies, the spin, and the pure disrespect for America's most sacred institutions.